In today's crochet tutorial, we will be creating this beautifully textured crochet beanie. This is my Lorelei beanie design from years ago that I thought would be so fun to share with you here on YouTube. So let's go ahead and jump into the materials that you're going to need to create your very own Lorelei beanie. The materials you're going to need for the Lorelei beanie is approximately 190 yards of size 4 worsted weight yarn. Today I'm using Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn in the color Burnt Pumpkin. You'll also need a 5mm H crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle to weave in your ends at the end of your project. To start round 1, we are going to create a slip knot, insert your hook into your slip knot, and we are going to work the brim of our beanie. We're going to be doing a ribbed brim using half double crochets. So to start, we are going to chain 7. To chain, you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook, pull through the loop on your hook. That's chain 1. Grab your yarn, pull through the loop on your hook. That's chain 2. I'm going to do that for a total of 7 chains. Once we reach 7 chains, we're going to place a half double crochet in the second chain from our hook. So here's our first chain and our second. So you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, insert into the second chain from your hook, grab your yarn from the back, pull through that chain, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're gonna yarn over your hook and pull through all 3 loops, and that's your half double crochet. And we're gonna create a half double crochet in the remaining chains. So yarn over your hook, insert into the very next chain, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Go ahead and keep doing that all the way down your chain. So you'll have a total of 6 half double crochets. And once you have all of your half double crochets done, this is going to complete row 1 of our brim. We're going to be creating the brim. This is going to be the width. So the chain that we just created creates the width of your brim, and each row is going to create the length. So we're going to want to make sure that it's long enough to wrap around our heads. So to complete the next round, we're going to chain 1. So grab your yarn, pull through the loop on your hook, and turn our work. And we'll still be doing half double crochets, but we're going to do half double crochet in the back loop only. And to do that, I'm going to pull this up a little bit so that you can see our stitches. So I'm just going to insert into a stitch. We have a front loop and a back loop. So here's our front loop and here's our back loop. Can you see in those little V's we have 2 strands, so front loop and back loop. And what we're going to want to do is only work in the back loop. Normally we would go under both loops, but to create that ribbing effect, going in the back loop only will create that ridge. So you're going to yarn over your hook in the very first stitch here. We're going to go in the back loop only and create our half double crochet as normal. And we're going to do that for every stitch. So back loop only, create half double crochet. And you'll have a total of 6 half double crochets in each row. And once we come up on the very last one, it's sometimes hard to see the back loop only right here because it is kind of slanted downward. So you want to make sure that you're counting your stitches and make sure that you always grab that little last one there. And to count our stitches, we can count from the top, so these little V stitches, or you can spread your stitches apart like this and count. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you want to make sure you always have 6. And we're going to keep repeating this until we have the length that we need for our hat. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and half double crochet in the back loop only. So this is going to be the repeat that we're going to do for the entire brim. So going in the back loop only, creating a half double crochet all the way across for a total of 6 half double crochets in the back loop. And we're going to keep repeating this row of half double crochet in the back loop only for a total of 36 rows. So it's here's how you count your rows. Here's our first row. Our second row is raised a little, and then our third row is down a little. And you'll count those rows. Now we're on row 4. Chain 1, turn your work, half double crochet, back loop only, all the way across. So go ahead and keep repeating that for a total of 36 rows, and I will meet you back here to finish our brim. So once you reach row 36 in your brim, or until your brim reaches 20 inches long, a good way to measure, you can wrap this around your head and make sure both of your ends meet, and it does stretch, so keep that in mind. So once you reach the 36th row, we are going to seam our two short ends together. And how we're going to do that is put them together, line up stitch for stitch here. So you're going to fold it in half so your short ends are lined up. You're going to take your hook, go through the very first stitch going under both on this side, and line it up going into the same stitch on the other side going through both sides. Grab your yarn, pull through both layers, and then we're going to take that and pull through the loop on our hook. So that's going to be a slip stitch. And we're going to do that for each stitch across. So we should have a total of 6. So we have 6 half double crochets, so we'll have 6 slip stitches. So you're going to go into the next one, go into the next one on the other side, grab your yarn, pull through the loop on your hook. That's a slip stitch. So go ahead and keep doing that, making sure that they are lined up. And this is going to seam our brim together. And then for the body of our beanie, we're going to be working in the round. All right, so we have all of our slip stitches. And now our brim is connected. It is a circle. I like to flip my brim so that my seam is on the inside of my hat. And I'm going to pull up a loop here. And now we are ready to do the very first round, because we'll be working in the round now for our body of our beanie. So you're going to chain 1. We're going to place 71 half double crochets around the brim. So we're working on the side of our work, so there's no direct stitch to go into, so you kind of have to find the right space. And we want to do 71 half double crochets around and space them out as evenly as we can. And what I like to do is go into the noticeable spaces. So right here, and right here, those are all noticeable spaces. So I'm going to go into this very first available one, create a half double crochet, and then right next to it is this little loop here, create a half double crochet. And you want to make sure that they're close enough together without having really large gaps like this in between them. So you just want to space them out as evenly as you can. And you want to do this all the way around, just finding the right spaces that work well for you until you have a total of 71. So go ahead and place your 71 half double crochets around the brim, and I will meet you back at the end of this round. Once we get to the end, we're going to slip stitch into the very first half double crochet that we made. So you're going to insert your hook into that very first stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. And that is going to connect your two sides and create a circle. So from here on out, we'll be doing a slip stitch to end our round. We're now going to work on round 2. So you're going to grab your yarn, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and this is the round where we're going to be creating our front post double crochets to create that fun ridge texture. So you're going to yarn over your hook, and in this very first stitch, the same one that we slip stitched into, we're going to create a double crochet. So our chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So yarn over your hook, insert into that very first stitch, grab your yarn from the back, pull through the stitch. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that's your double crochet. We're going to make a front post treble crochet, and to do that, you're going to yarn over your hook twice, and then we're going to go around this post from the round before. So this is our half double crochet round that we did, and we're going to take our hook, go under and through. So you're going to go behind this stitch, the next stitch here. So it's going to be on top of your hook like so. This is what the back looks like. You're going to grab your yarn over here, slide it behind that stitch, and you're going to have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that is going to be your front post treble crochet. All right, and then in the next stitch, we're going to create a double crochet. So that's going to be your repeat, double crochet, front post, treble crochet. So yarn over your hook, and we're going to go into the very next stitch and create a double crochet. And it's important for this one to make sure that you skip 1 stitch in the back, because that is where we did our front post treble crochet. So you just want to make sure you can turn your work in the back, make sure there's a skipped stitch there, and right next to it will be your double crochet. And we're going to keep doing that all the way around. So wrap your yarn around your hook twice, and we're going to do a front post treble crochet. And here's our last front post treble crochet. Right here is for the double crochet that we did next to it. So we're going to do our front post treble crochet in the post right next to it. So there should be this one here, and then we're going to go around this one. So insert your hook, going behind that half double crochet from our previous round. Grab your yarn, pull behind that stitch. You'll have the 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. Next is a double crochet, yarn over once. We're going to make sure that we skip this stitch here, and we're going to work right here into the next one and create our double crochet. I'm going to create our next front post treble, yarn over twice. We'll use our last post as a reference. So there's this one. So this half double crochet here, we're going to skip that and go to the next one. If it helps to spread your stitches apart so that you can see, totally feel free to do that. So this, we're going to skip this one and go around this one. So going behind this stitch, create your front post treble crochet. We're going to turn our work to the back a little bit. We're going to skip this one and place our double crochet in the very next stitch. Right, and you can start to see it now. Our front post treble crochets pop up a little bit and create that fun little texture there. So you're going to keep repeating that: double crochet, front post treble, double crochet, front post treble. Keep repeating that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Once we reach the end, we are going to slip stitch to the beginning double crochet, so not your chain 2, but the very first double crochet in the rounds. We're going to create a slip stitch to finish our round. All right, and for the next round, we are going to chain 2, and we're not going to turn because we're working in the round. So we're going to keep working this way. And last round we started with a double crochet, so this round we're going to start with a front post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over twice, going around that first double crochet from the last round, and go underneath that stitch, create your front post treble, and then we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch, right? And you can flip just to make sure that you had skipped the one stitch there. And you're going to do that all the way around. So we're going to do front post treble crochet, double crochet. So it is the opposite of our last round. So for every double crochet, you should be putting a front post treble crochet around those double crochet stitches from the previous round. And then you'll place a double crochet on top of your front post from the last round. So you're going to go ahead and do that all the way around, and I will meet you at the end. And since we started with a front post treble crochet, that means you should be ending with a double crochet. So that's how it should be meeting up for you. So that seam is kind of seamless. So you're going to insert your hook into the very first front post treble crochet that you made of the round, create your slip stitch to connect. And this is what it should be looking like for you guys. Let me move my tail out of the way. So now that we've done these 2 rounds, you should be able to see the fun ridge texture that this creates and the alternating, how that works up in these ridges. So it's super fun, very lovely texture. We're going to keep repeating these 2 rounds until we have a total of 12 rounds with the front post treble crochets. So it'll be 13 rounds total because we started with a half double crochet round, and this was technically our second and third round. So we're going to act like the first half double crochet round was just our foundation. So these rounds 1 and 2 that we just did, we're going to keep repeating them until we have 12 rounds total with the front post treble crochets. So we're going to chain 2, And since we started with a front post treble crochet on the last round, we're going to start with a double crochet this round. And then we're going to create front post treble crochet around the double crochets from the last round. So go ahead and keep repeating that pattern until you have 12 rounds. And remember, next round we started with a double crochet, so next round you'll start with a front post treble crochet. That is how you'll know. So you'll keep alternating and keep repeating those rounds until you have a total of 12 of these rounds, and I will meet you back to finish up our beanies. Once we've reached our 12 rounds with the front post treble crochets, we are going to do our final 2 rounds, which are going to close up the top of our beanie. This is what it will look like for you. A good way to count is you can start with your very first row. You can see a front post treble crochet clearly here. So 1, 2, going up to the next round, you're going to count diagonally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's how I like to count my rounds. This hat is going to be slightly slouchy. If you want a more fitted hat, you can leave off the 12th round of front post treble crochet, double crochet, and then you can move on to the final 2 rounds with us. To start round 13, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to be double crocheting 2 together all the way around to create decreases. And to do that, you're going to yarn over your hook, insert into the very first stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, and you're going to have 2 loops left on the hook. You're going to yarn over your hook and insert into the very next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, and as you can see, we have our 2 stitches here. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that's going to connect them. So for the next round, those 2 stitches become just 1. So that's how we're going to do a double crochet decrease. And we're going to do that for all the stitches around. So yarn over your hook, insert into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, leave those 2 on your hook, yarn over your hook, go into the very next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. So go ahead and keep doing that all the way around. For the final round, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to be single crocheting 2 together. So decreasing just like we did the round before, but this time with single crochets rather than double crochets. So to do that, we're going to insert our hook into the very first stitch, grab our yarn, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and we're going to leave them on there and insert into the very next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to do that all the way around. So insert, grab your yarn, pull through, keep those 2 on your hook, insert into the very next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And once we come to our very first single crochet decrease that we created, we're going to create a slip stitch to connect. And this is going to be the top of your beanie. So you are still going to have a pretty large opening. So what we're going to want to do is pull a little bit of excess yarn, cut your yarn, and we're going to act as if we're chaining 1, but pull that long tail all the way through to just secure your yarn and tie off. This is the part where you're going to want to grab your yarn needle. You're going to thread your long tail through your needle, and we are going to weave in and out of the top of these stitches. So we're going to go in this one and just go in and out through all those top stitches. Once I've gone through a few, I will pull my yarn. And what this is going to do is this is going to cinch the top of this closed. So going in, out, pull through. And you're going to want to do this through every stitch along the top here. And once you get to the very first stitch, I'm going to go through that one just one more time like so. Pull my yarn through, and you're going to pull your yarn tail until that top closes like this. I like to make sure that it's nice and snug, and then you can create a knot to secure that so that opening stays closed, just like so. And I have a lot of excess yarn, so I'm gonna pull my needle a little bit closer and then just cut. And then this little bit of tail, I'm going to want to keep my needle, my yarn threaded on my needle, and I'm going to go through my work and just hide this tail. I like to go a few different directions, go down into your work. Now I'm going to go up that stitch, go around the top, just go in a few different directions to really hide that tail. And once you do, you can snip the rest off, and now that tail is hidden, and you're going to want to do that for any and all loose ends that you might have. So that is the top of your beanie. Everything came cinched closed. Now you have a finished Lorelei beanie. This is such a beautifully textured hat. I absolutely love it. This is my very first hat pattern that I ever designed, and it's still one of my favorites all these years later. You can add a faux fur pom to your beanie to the top, or you can just leave it as is, whatever your preference, totally up to you. But that is it, friends. I hope you enjoyed this crochet tutorial today. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you'll see all my future crochet and knit tutorials. I'll see you on the next one.